I never thought I'd find myself in a situation like this. My wife, Anna, and I had what I believed was a strong marriage of 6 years. Sure, we had our ups and downs, but nothing out of the ordinary. Then everything changed. One day, Anna mentioned she was heading to tan and run errands at Walmart and Target. Hours passed, and when she finally returned, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. She had a flimsy explanation, and only one small bag from Walmart. It didn't add up. Suspecting something was amiss, I grabbed her phone, and that's when I stumbled upon a message from someone named Brad. They had planned to meet at a hotel that day. Shocked and angry, I confronted her. She hesitated, but eventually admitted that Brad was an old schoolmate in town for work. Brad, supposedly part of a company contracted by AMR in Illinois, had a job involving power lines and trees. My wife claimed he mentioned his marriage might be on the rocks. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Enraged, I decided to reach out to Brad's wife to get the full picture. Anna, realizing the consequences, pleaded with me not to call her. She felt guilty about potentially ruining Brad's family, but at that point, our own family was already shattered. I told her there was no turning back, and I made the call right then and there. I was beyond furious, and exposing the truth was the only course of action that made sense to me. So, I tracked down Brad's wife on Facebook and sent her the incriminating messages. I included my number, fully aware that I was about to unleash a storm of emotions on her. Her response was immediate, a phone call filled with tears and disbelief. I felt a twinge of guilt, but I knew she deserved to know the truth. She shared that she had sensed something was wrong, but couldn't quite figure it out. She decided to move in with her parents, with the kids, until she could find her own place, and she planned to confront Brad after notifying her family. Armed with this information, I confronted my wife with the fallout of her actions. I didn't hold back, telling her she should be proud of her perfect score in wrecking 2 families in a single day. What did she expect? That I would break down and beg her to stop cheating? That was not happening. It was time for her to face the consequences, as was Brad. But the situation took an unexpected turn. After Brad's wife confronted him, he had the audacity to call me, accusing me of ruining his life and challenging me to a fight. I made it clear to him that he was the one who had ruined his own life and played a part in ruining my wife's life as well. I sarcastically wished him enjoyment in his upcoming divorce. Secondly, he seemed so confident that he could beat me to a pulp, not knowing anything about who I was or what I was capable of. Maybe he thought I was some kind of pushover because my wife had cheated on me. The truth is, anyone, no matter how masculine, handsome, or capable, can find themselves in that situation. Over the years, I'd been dedicated to training in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, earning a brown belt and developing decent striking skills. My buddies and I attended classes during the week and practiced in my garage a few nights a week. So when Brad threw down the challenge, I didn't hesitate to accept. I told him to come on down if he really wanted to fight, emphasizing that I might not win, but would do my best. What a foolish challenge. A couple of days later, Brad showed up at my house, ready for a showdown. Stepping outside, I gave him one last chance to walk away. He was consumed by rage, while I saw an out-of-balance guy about to experience some pain. He could have swallowed his pride and avoided a world of hurt, but he was dead set on fighting. So be it. The fight was intense, but it wasn't even close. Dodging his inevitable big right hand, I took him down immediately, mounting him and smothering him with my chest for a minute until he wore himself out. Then I stood up. I would never lay a hand on my wife, but Brad took a beating for both of them. After a few minutes of bringing it down on his face, I stood up. Brad was lying battered and bruised on my front lawn, while I didn't have a scratch on me. I pulled out my phone and started live streaming on Facebook, narrating the entire story to ensure everyone knew what had transpired. Hey everyone. Meet Brad. Brad thought it would be cool to meet my wife at the Drury Inn a few days ago, so I called his wife, and now he's getting a divorce. He got upset and came here to beat me up. Well, How did that work out for you, Brad? He couldn't answer. All he could do was drag himself back to his car like an idiot. My wife was upset and crying on the front porch. I turned the phone towards her, and she immediately ran back inside. I said, "Why are you leaving him now? It's obvious your dear Brad needs you," and then I left. I ended the video by announcing that I had filed for divorce, stating that everyone would find out anyway, so it was better to get it all out now and be done with it. The thumbs, hearts, and angry faces were nearly covering my screen, coming in so fast. LOL. By the next morning, the video had gone viral in our region. Brad not only had to deal with the impending loss of his family, but was now the laughingstock of the entire southern half of the state. 2 black eyes and an injured ankle left him with very visible reminders of his stupidity and arrogance. As for Anna, she was absolutely mortified by the whole situation. I knew there was no going back, so I sent her packing that night. In hindsight, I can't believe I was so blind to her true nature, but I guess that's how it goes sometimes. I hope my story can serve as both inspiration and a cautionary tale to others. You never know what people are capable of. And sometimes, it takes a dramatic event to reveal their true colors. You also never know the full extent of what you're asking for when you ask to hook up with another man's wife. Now, I know some of you might think this was an extreme reaction to a cheating spouse, but let me tell you something. When you've put your heart and soul into a relationship, only to have it shattered by betrayal, you'd be surprised what you're capable of. To anyone out there going through a similar situation, my advice is this. Don't be afraid to do what needs to be done. It's not always easy, and it might not be pretty, but in the end, you'll know that you fought for your self-respect and dignity. Who knows, maybe you'll even discover a newfound passion for martial arts along the way. I can tell you firsthand, it's a fantastic way to channel your anger and frustration into something positive. So, fellow Redditors, that's my story. I hope you found it as entertaining and engaging as I found it cathartic to share. Here's to moving on and making better choices in the future. Cheers. By the way, I thought Brad's wife worked at Cracker Barrel, but there was no mention of that anywhere. Anyway,